Recording. Huh? I just realized. Oh, tiny people.
Come back this way.
So I am having a day of chauffeuring my mom around town. I went to get my blood drawn for my thyroid test this morning. There was a major accident on the road, so I ended up like stuck in like a 1 hour almost detour. Made it to her house, picked her up, just dropped her off at the eye doctor, which is where she's getting checked up. She had cataract surgery in 2020. That was a fun time. And so she's getting whatever the follow-ups are for like her yearlies. So I am here at my childhood public library where many books were borrowed, where I read the entire Incarnations of Immortality series in high school, and where a good portion of my master's thesis was written. Usually when my university was closed or I just didn't feel like driving all the way to it, I would just come here, grab a seat, and just write. So this is a blast from the past. I think the last time I came here was maybe 12 or 13 years ago. It's been a very long time since I've been here. I don't even actually qualify for their card, I think, unless I sign up as a affiliate through the county. They're a city library as opposed to a county library, so I think I can get affiliate perks, but it's such a drive that I don't really need it, but it is a nice place to visit. They had a weird, I think, contest where every panel of the library was painted on the outside, the exterior, so it's all like different murals and paintings, and it's not all my favorite art, but some are decent. So let's go in. I'm horizontal. My mom has a way of absolutely draining me. I have a kitty. He will be my companion as long as I don't move. I woke up at 3 a.m. with one of those mild but extremely bothersome migraines that like lodges right here and like shoots up to the side of my head. At like, it wasn't even 3 a.m. I think it was like 2:45 a.m. So I had to get up. At that point, I had already taken Advil, so I had to get up and take my Triptan because it hadn't done anything. And I had to like eat something just to keep it from making me feeling absolutely nauseous. I did feel kind of nauseous in the morning, and I wasn't sure if that was just, the discomfort of my migraine causing nausea or side effects, because the more I take Advil, the more nasty stuff it does to my digestive system, but also it's one of the only things that works in addition to the Triptan, and when it gets to the point where nothing works, then I just have to live in pain. Luckily, it did help, fingers crossed. Sometime this morning, I think around like 8 or 9, it rained a little. This is definitely a barometric pressure migraine. So that eased, and I'm hoping it doesn't come back. But I am drained. I have been noticing more and more. There is the fact that I have in fact been awake for most of the night, but also I've been noticing that when I do take the Triptan, even though it doesn't make me sleepy, I don't get drowsy, I can go about my day, I do get extremely fatigued, and I'm already kind of fatigued because of my thyroid disorder. Like, fatigue just follows me no matter what. But this is another level. So here I am. My mom also wore me out, so it kind of all compiled. I took her to her eye appointment, as you guys saw. I spent about 2 hours in the library until she called me up. Then we popped into Chick-fil-A because she couldn't decide what she wanted to eat, and I know that Chick-fil-A sandwiches are like one of the surefire things that makes her happy. So took her there, got her a sandwich, she was happy, and then she was like, oh, I have to buy a few things, I guess I'll drive myself. And I was like, no, of course you're not going to drive yourself. Like, she had just had her eyes dilated, so who knows how long that was going to take. So took her to do an impromptu grocery trip, and as we were leaving the grocery store, she sees that there's a Burlington and a Marshall's next door, so she was like, oh, can we go look at something? So we took an impromptu shopping trip as well, and hence I got home much later than I expected. Her appointment was at 11. I got home at 4:30, and now I am in bed with him because I just can't fathom the thought of doing anything. I'm also probably going to go out and buy something for dinner later, because the thought of having to make something, like, I have some stuff in the fridge, and this is the challenge when it comes to food and meal prep and everything, because I do have some stuff prepped, but the thought of like making the salad or the side dish or whatever the base of this meal is going to be, like, I've got the protein ready to go and I have the ingredients. I am an ingredient household. But the thought of sitting at the stove, or not sitting at the stove, but standing at the stove, and putting together whatever requirements, we'll put this thing into a meal, whether it's, multiple dishes, or bringing out the rice cooker, or measuring spoons, or whatever. I just do not want to, because the thought of doing that and then washing it just feels like so much work. So I will probably buy something to eat tonight that will go into my budget, and this is one of the situations that we have. I would have had some stuff, like some standbys, but I did make food for 2 this week, so some of what would have been my leftovers did not go as far, so those are gone. So I've got the proteins, but not the carbs or the veggies to go with it prepared, and I don't want to. I am an adult and I can choose not to do these things, and that is what we'll do. But I really do wish that I could find the energy stores to do more tonight. I thought maybe I could just read the draft and write editing notes, but I was very fast losing energy as I was doing that earlier today, so I don't think that's going to happen tonight anymore. I don't think I'll be lifting today. Today is my lifting day. I lift 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If for whatever reason I can't do one day, I move it around. So I think I will lift tomorrow. Thursday's not my lifting day, but I could squeeze it in if I feel right. If I feel okay. If the migraine doesn't return. All many ifs. So if I feel fine, I will lift on Thursday and then move my Friday session to Saturday. And so then I have enough time in between to make it work. So that is that. I'll check in later. Hopefully not horizontal by then. ¿La ven? No. Saca la cabeza. So it's been kind of a low energy weekend. I'm done with edits for this week. It took a lot longer than I anticipated. Not even because the chapters were messy, just because I was really struggling with focus, with energy, with all the things. So I am still on track. I'm going to lose some time this week because I've got 2 conferences, one of which I'm presenting, but if I can maintain at least my reading pace, I should be done, fingers crossed, by like the second week of November at the latest. That's already like accounting for loss of time. If I can manage this pace without losing time, I will probably be done by the beginning, like first weekend of November. I am planning to have a little outing with my boyfriend for his birthday at the start of November, and also that is election season, which is a hellish time to be trying to do anything that requires focus. So just recalling my energy and feelings during the last few elections, I know that my brain probably won't be in a great space to really concentrate, so we'll make it work. So that's the plan. My home has fallen into a state of disrepair as usual when I'm in highly focused writing mode. Everything else just kind of falls by the wayside. I've talked about this before. My plan to get to tidying between projects, I'm going to kind of like reevaluate. I think my initial plan, don't remember if I talked about this already, but I had planned to take like a 1 week break to declutter and tidy between novels, read-throughs. So this is the last edit of this one before I go to proofreadings, and then the next one needs like full editing. It'll be the first draft, revision, review, etc. So my plan had been to take about a week off between projects and just kind of keep on keeping on, but I think that the recent downward trend of my overall energy levels has led me to think that maybe I need a little bit more of a break. So if I can wrap things up by the beginning of November, I might just take off from any kind of writing, like sustained writing, in the rest of the month, focus on getting my home into a state where I can like think clearly again and feel lighter, and then also engage in a little bit of craft. I have borrowed a book on copywriting that I want to read, and I'd like to take notes on that. And so I would like to just engage in a course of self-study, let's say, between projects, to kind of like re-engage a different side of my brain when it comes to the creative work of fiction. So that's the plan. I hear a kitty cat doing something out there, and I'm waiting for the boy to pick me up because he asked me to go for a boba date, which is quite nice and spontaneous. So it's a little reward for myself. So I'll check in later, and fingers crossed that my progress continues as it has. Hey. So it's been exactly a week since the last clip, and let's talk about best laid plans and how everything fell apart. I have not been able to write all weekend, so I'm very far behind, at least behind on my goals, which had been coming along pretty well, and now they're not. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just I'm behind. It's gonna take longer than I had anticipated at this rate. But I had a conference on Thursday, got my period, and everything kind of went haywire after that. I am definitely looking forward to my yearly checkup next month, which is the only reason I haven't like pushed it forward, is because I knew that it was already scheduled. So I was like, what's the point in trying to get it an earlier date? It's the same thing. I just don't feel good. That's just the reality. I do not feel well. I don't know if I'm anemic, if something has happened, if something else is going on. I don't know. I'm so tired of not having answers and just feeling so unwell. I've been laid up for the last 3 days. It is now Sunday. As soon as I got home on Thursday night, basically that was it, crash and burn. Spent all of Thursday with the migraine, had to take the medication just to get through the conference, and then Friday, horizontal. I had an online conference, which I basically did from bed, and then Saturday, horizontal again. Went out for a little bit, walked around, and tried to get some writing done, but just looking at the screen made me so dizzy. I could not tolerate any time on screen, and today is Sunday. I just took my migraine meds and 3 Advils. We'll see if it works. I have a it's not a concert, but it's sort of a concert. It's a live performance of Labyrinth tonight, and I'm just hoping that I can get well enough to be able to go there. I already told my partner he's probably gonna have to drive because I don't think I'm going to be able to tolerate the like hour-plus long drive to where the venue is. So we'll see. I'm just really hoping that this stuff kicks in. I actually did pay for ticket insurance when I bought those tickets just in case I felt extremely unwell. We'll see. It would not be the first time that I've not been able to attend a show because of my health, but I'm hoping that I could at least function well enough to do that. I think I got like 6 pages edited yesterday, but they were very light edits, so it was fine, but that's about as much as I was able to handle looking at the screen before I started to feel super nauseous and had to lay down. And yeah, it's just been a lot. It's like throwing darts, trying to figure out what's wrong with me, and I just don't know. Is it just migraine? Is it something else? I don't know. And I feel like everybody who has mysterious chronic illnesses can understand like the frustration of going to doctors and getting tests run and having no answers. And, you know, I have the chronic migraines, so when I'm asked about symptoms, it's like, well, is it the migraines or is it something else? And I just can't distinguish it at this point. So I guess we'll see. But I was looking back over previous blood tests that I've had done and like my records, and I don't see any like full iron panels and like ferritin panels and stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna ask for, like if they can run some panels to see if anemia might be at all to blame for this extreme fatigue that I've been having, and just, you know, like heart palpitations and stuff that I've been experiencing for a while. I've been to the cardiologist for that. I don't know. All this to say that I am here, but I am not in a fit state. So we'll keep chugging along, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'll check in again if I feel okay. I was signing in on Monday afternoon. I took the day off today. I did get to go to the concert last night. It was the last, I guess, showing of the tour of the Labyrinth in Concert series. That was quite nice, but I definitely suffered for it. I came home and everything in my neck was super tense. Even now, it feels kind of tensed up, but I suspect that in addition to the migraine, in addition to the potential that I might be suffering from a little bit of anemia because I have had some really bad periods the last few months, I think that the worst of the symptoms may actually be just the sudden drop in my thyroid medication. I ran out, I think I already said this, but I ran out of the new dose that I've been taking, which has actually been making me feel better. And at first I was like, is this placebo effect? Am I psyching myself out? But I had actually been feeling more energetic over the last 3 months. And by energetic, it's like, that's all relative because it's like, what is energy at this point? But I felt more human, let's just say, than I had in a while. And so I was supposed to see the doctor last week and ended up getting rescheduled for this week. So I've had about a week now of the old dose, which was 125 micrograms, and I got bumped up to 137. And even at 137, I saw my results. I'm not where I feel the best. I have in the past always felt the best closer to the 1 level, and now I'm at the 2 point something, but that's way better than being almost at 4, which is within range, but like still makes you feel like trash. The closer you are to a 1, usually the better you feel, and I've noticed that in my own case. So 2.33 is better than 4 point some odd, and definitely better than like the 3.94 that I was at last time, but it's still not quite where I feel my best, and I've been chasing the where I feel my best for a while. But all this to say that maybe the reason I feel like utter trash over the last week is because of the sudden shift in my TSH levels, and on top of everything else, on top of having my period and potentially maybe dealing with a little bit of anemia, and all the other things, because the lack of energy that I have felt this week, the literal, like, I cannot get out of bed feeling, is a sensation that I have not felt in a long time in terms of my thyroid, and like since COVID, in terms of just like in recent times. It's that kind of full body, like, do I have the energy to walk kind of sensation. So it's been a lot. I'm a little bit better today, but I didn't feel like I could make it to work and back. Like, just the thought of driving in and doing whatever I had to do and then coming back home, just, I could not imagine driving through traffic today. So I took the day off. I did a couple of hours of chat, so the rest of the time I'm just gonna take it as actual sick leave. Like, I did not even read email. I gave up. I hate feeling this way. I feel like it's always a struggle, and if you also have any kind of chronic illness, like, you probably can relate to this. Like, it's always a struggle just to do the things I need to do, even more so to do the things I want to do, like the things that require that extra energy. And for me, that's writing. For me, that's blogging and exercising. Like, those are all the things that require the extra energy. Getting the will to just go and do my job is the bare minimum. So I couldn't even do that today. But feeling like this, and I guess in the last few months, that's maybe what's allowed me to get more done, to like keep up with such a rigorous pace in terms of editing. Probably the fact that over the last 3 months I have also been taking a higher dose of my meds, but it feels like such a, like, just constant struggle. Like, you're just pushing that boulder up that hill and it just rolls right back down every time. So like, every time I get a flare, every time I get a migraine, like, that boulder just comes right back down. And so you're just kind of like constantly chasing that feeling of just feeling okay enough to do the things you want to do. So that's always disheartening. Like, it just feels like it gets me so down, because I already feel down about how I feel physically, and then I'm down on myself because I feel like I'm not progressing, and it's just a terrible mess of negative emotions that comes together. So that's what's happening. But I suspect that this is what's going on this week, that the last 5 days or so have been affected by the combination of all these things coming together, and my thyroid meds maybe throwing everything out of whack. I'm hoping that on Wednesday when I see him that he says, yes, we're going to keep you on the new dose and see you in 6 months. And then all things will be great. And I will get my prescription upped again and feel like a normal person. But I am now definitely behind. I told myself that if I can manage at least an hour of editing tonight, that would be a good thing. I've managed at least an hour in the last 2 days, like consecutively. But slogging through it, basically, like just barely getting anything done in that hour. But a little bit of progress is better than no progress at all. So I'll try to do that tonight. But first, I do need to tidy a bit, and that is also the same old story, but it's bad. My room is a literal disaster zone. It looks very depression room right now, so I'm going to tidy and get some energy, I hope, in order to get some work done. But I will probably wrap the vlog here. I think this has gone on long enough. I hope that the next one brings a bit of good news, hopefully some updates on what's going on with my health, and maybe a little bit more energy from my part. So I will check in with you guys later. Thank you for listening if you got this far, and I've never done the whole like drop an emoji below, but if you got this far, go ahead and drop some sort of like sunshine and rainbows type emoji below, and hope that the next week has more energy and sunshine and rainbows for me. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. You guys are precariously positioned on the bed, so make of that what you will. But I thought I needed to share that my boyfriend wants to wear his Goku costume for Halloween, which is tomorrow. And I just discovered a massive hole in the crotch. This costume is very old. And as I told him, his Dragon Balls were about to be exposed. So I'm trying to make this work, and I don't know that it's going to, because cheap polyester that has been through it is not the best or easiest thing to repair. So this is a test of my sewing skills by hand, because I have no machine. Like if I had a little like hand sewing machine, this would be so much better, because then I could, like, I don't know, whatever the term is, to do the proper stitch. Is it serging it? I don't know. My grandmother used to know these things because she was a seamstress. My mom, not so much, because we still have my grandmother's old sewing machine, but it doesn't really work very well. And we've both been meaning to invest in a little tiny sewing machine for situations such as this, just because, like, we know the basics. But this is not looking great. I'm gonna continue. Surprisingly, not the worst job, considering that I basically had to sew it in like a T, but now I have to do a little bit on the outside, because though I was able to match up the stitch, now the stitch on the outside is still a little bit loose, and because we don't want things bursting. What the heck is out there? What's going on? They might start honking again. Anyhow, somebody's out there honking because somebody else is blocking the way. Okay, let's see. Can I thread this needle? First one went in easily, but I lost my little threader thingy. I did request this kit for Christmas a couple years ago, and I think I have sewn more of my boyfriend's clothes than I've sewn of my own, but it's kind of to be expected. He tends to destroy his stuff more than I do. Oh goodness. Come on, go in. Yes. Yes. Success. Grade for 8th grade home ec. Who taught me everything I know. No, that's not true. My grandmother taught me a lot as well. But I did have home ec back in the past when that was a thing. And I wanted the cooking home ec because, of course, you know, the kids cook and they come out of class with stuff that they made. I did not end up in cooking home ec. I ended up in sewing home ec. I think I had like 2 lessons in the kitchen, just because like we traded off at some point. So I learned how to bake cookies from scratch, and I learned how to cook some other thing. I think it was like turkey or something like that. But I did gain many skills when it came to the sewing machine and sewing by hand. But this is half-assed at best. Let's face it. You know, like I said, he has other costumes, but he's really interested in this one this year. I will be Bulma. The things I do for love. Okay, let's see how long it takes to do this. Is it the best? No. Will anyone see it? Hopefully not. So he might try to find some sweatpants in this color, but let's face it, finding sweatpants in the exact same shade is going to be difficult. I feel like as long as nobody sees the very center of his crotch, like, he should be fine. It will be done.